Hey, beautiful, wonderful people, a pleasant evening to everybody. So, lovely people, I saw something on the news that I want to address. I want to give my 2 cents in. And I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact verbatim of or I should say, the exact wording, the exact caption, not verbatim, the exact caption of the news in particular as it relates to why students who transition from the primary level, the infant primary level, tend not to be able to be good readers at the secondary high school level. And there was a principal that spoke on the matter of I suppose maybe not effective primary education in the life of the infant, or the young one I should say. And another person came in and gave something very potent as it relates to maybe psychological or mental disorders or challenges, maybe suffering from certain types of handicaps and so on. And I could also put in sometimes diet. Unfortunately, you may find that the diet is not great, that they're eating unhealthy foods, and it affects the different muscles and tissues, and they say we're made up of atoms, and if it is not stimulated by the correct nutrients, then it's going to be something hazardous. And then when it gets into the bloodstream, then you find a number of problems being created in the life of the child. And I also want to say that it also, apart from all of what I've mentioned and what was mentioned, is that the parents, the guardians, have to take extra care in ensuring that your child is able to read and read well. The onus, is upon you as the parent. I remember the story of it's a real life thing I'm talking about, that foreign medical doctor who was said to be the first black American doctor to separate, or black doctor or doctor to separate Siamese twins. I don't know why his name, it tends to elude me for the moment. But whatever his name is, when he became a doctor, that is when he knew his mom was illiterate. You understand? Because his mother may not have had the wherewithal to send him to extra lessons for him to, and she just did what she could have done. And she said, all right, she may not be able to read, but what she did, she allowed him to read. What she had to do was to use a little bit of wit and wisdom. She didn't let him know that she was illiterate. And if he was reading and he would kind of stutter, Jamaicans would say buck shuffle on something, and there seems to be a hiccup. She said, read that entire thing over again. You're going to start from the top, and she just note the words that she hears so that it sounds familiar. When he became a medical doctor, that is when he knew she was illiterate. So it has nothing to do with your IQ and your EQ per se. Well, more so your IQ, but her EQ wasn't so bad. She used emotional intelligence and outwitted him, because she had to ensure that her son would not become her. A lady I know who is a teacher, she said to me that a parent in a similar position, unable to read and read properly, illiterate, and she said, okay, I may be illiterate, but I am going to find ways of knowing what's happening. And every week she's at the school finding out what she said. The parent said it is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Illiterate parent every week following up, and the teacher breaks it down, the status of the child, so she can understand it. And then she just asks the teacher, what are your suggestions for me to make my child do well? They're not going to come out like me. You're listening to what I'm saying to you, people? So if you really want your child, if if you really want your child to learn, they will learn. I want you to understand that. If you really and truly want that child to learn, the child will learn. Mother, father, guardian, whomever the child grows up with. Illiteracy will not stop you. Ignorance will not stop you. And when I say ignorance, ignorance of knowing how to really read and write per se. But you're not ignorant that there is something that you can do as a parent to ensure that your child comes out to be the best human he or she was designed to be. The onus is not just on the teachers. Because if you find that a child does not do well, even if it is trauma related and some mental issue or psychological issue or some food issue, meaning they don't have the right nutrition, it goes back to the home. It goes right back to the home. So 80%, 70 to 80% of the problems have to do with the homes. The rest is secondary. The teacher should just come and do his or her part in strengthening what the family should be doing. The family really should be teaching certain things, and then when they come out to mix and mingle and socialize and get that secondary exposure, the teacher really should be cementing some of the fundamental truths that would have already been, hopefully would have been taught in the homes. So parents, the onus is really on you. You can make that difference in your child's life, even if the teacher doesn't do a good job. I remember my days at the University of the West Indies, Mona, when I was doing my first degree. And I never forgot, there were particular classes or sessions, lectures, or whatever you want to call it, that I had gone to. And I don't know if my brain for those particular sessions just decides that, all right, this is not working out for me. So it tends to take a temporary vacation. There was a disconnect. I was not comprehending one single solitary thing that the lecturer was imparting. Me no know. Me sit down, me try focus, and me say, I must say my head tough. I must feel my head tough because something wrong. Me not learn. And I'd never forgot, I was, kind of belly aching to somebody who had the same issue. And they said, Toni-Ann, that there's a girl who is good at this. She's for free. She's not a tutor. She just is good at the thing. And you can meet us, like you'd say, Monday at 6 p.m. I said, what? Definitely. Because this is one particular elective I can't, me no good. And when I went, it's like the scales came off my eyes. The light bulb went on. The tough head went. The brain came back. It came off the temporary vacation. It was a student actually who taught me, and I was able to comprehend and learn. And all I did, I could not wait until, as I said, I didn't learn in the lectures. I had to go home every day. So the onus was on me, because now me big, me not a picnic at the prep level or so. Now me big, and I went home every day until exam time for an hour to practice. Because I said I have to do well in this particular course that I'm not great at. I know I have to do it. I think I got a B+ for that. You know what I mean? So, what I'm simply saying to you parents, if you decide for your child to do well, especially at a tender age, whether you're illiterate or you're dunce or you're bright or you're witty or not, your child would do well if you're determined. Yes, also the onus is on the child, but you have to train the child in understanding, accountability, and discipline. You have to teach them what it is. Remember, they're a blank slate. So at that early age, if you impart that upon them, then they will do well. Think about it. Guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those lines.